like you were in a tight end, but you know about how the age of one affects the other. You played obviously with Favre at the end with the Packers, not the end. Who is more to blame in terms of whose age is more to blame for the fall off of the Patriots?
I'll say this first: they're both to blame, but when I look at what Tom Brady is doing, he is definitely more to blame. And here's why: when I look at the New England Patriots, what they've always been able to do is to get away with good personnel, quality personnel, because of Tom Brady. Right now, where he is in his level of play, they're not able to get away with that anymore because of Tom Brady and what he's incapable of doing. I shouldn't say incapable, what he has not done this year. And when I say that, I'm not saying he can't do it, but on a consistent basis, what we are used to seeing, he has not been able to do the things that we have become accustomed to seeing a Tom Brady do, elevating the guys around him. I think their personnel hurts them because their personnel isn't good enough to carry Tom Brady like Tom Brady was to carry the personnel.
But the personnel wasn't that good last year, right? Like they didn't have Edelman last year.
But Tom was great. He was great. Like he still was older, but he wasn't doing these things. He wasn't making these types of throws.
It should also be pointed out that they ran the benefit, and this is sometimes I thought, look, the Chargers should have been in the playoffs last year. They were a playoff caliber team, if not for the field goal issues and some of the losses early in the season, the Jacksonville loss. The Ravens should have been in the playoffs last year. They just gave it away, and that allowed the Texans and the Bills into the playoffs. And so remember, they played the Titans, they played the Jaguars to get to a Super Bowl. That's all they had to play. They didn't play the Steelers. If they played the Steelers, or if maybe they played this year's Texans, I know they beat the Texans, or they played the Chiefs at full strength, or maybe even the Chiefs last year, maybe they don't make it to a Super Bowl. But instead, they benefited, and so it hid some of the warts and some of the age. Can you get it back? Let's say they have a week off, and can he get it back in that week off? Do you think the Patriots will actually win a playoff game?
It depends on who they have to go up against. And for me, you're exactly right. I don't like them playing in the wild card with Tom Brady looking the way he's looked, with this team looking the way that they look. I think that going on the road and having to play somewhere else versus playing at Gillette Stadium, completely different New England Patriots team, something that they typically don't have to do in this part of the season in January. So I think he can pull it together. I think they can win a playoff game.
Really quickly, the Rams are a team that, even though they're going to get to the playoffs, Jared Goff has not played well. Is it the line? Is it the play calling? Is it Goff? Why has their offense now suddenly stalled out?
That's a great question. And honestly, I don't have an answer for that. When I look at, I know the play calling, it's not the play calling. I'm just going to say that I think people take for granted sometimes what guys mean to teams. Cooper Kupp, him going down, he means a lot to that team. He's a weapon that was always open, always available, and he was a very reliable weapon for Jared Goff and consistent guy for even Sean McVay, to where he can put him anywhere within the offense and it opens things up.
A stunning remark from a wide receiver. It's a wide receiver who's most missed by the other ends. I kid. That's great. Jennings, Happy New Year to you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up next, the Blazing Five and Joel Klatt will be our guest. Next, I'm Doug Gottlieb. This is The Herd.
Ever wonder why the quarterback is often the best-looking guy on a team? Think about it. Who gets the ball in the playground in the 4th or 5th grade? The handsome kid. The girls think he's cute, the boys think he's cool, and this process begins.
You dropping off or picking up?
You know, the thing about dynasties, people say they don't like them, but they watch them.
Sometimes you need a second sample to confirm that the first sample is, accurate.